All I'm saying is this. How about you wipe that paint off your face and then see if you still got that same confidence when you talk to me? 99% of you women won't. Y'all be chasing a woman that's running from you.
Come on, champ.
You supposed to be picking the one that's looking at you.
Come on, champ.
When you do that, you don't even need game because she gonna do everything you need. My uncle told me, stop looking at that bitch that you want and start looking at that little funny looking bitch in the corner that's looking at you because that woman finna do everything for you. The value that a woman brings to the table makes her bad to me. So the looks ain't even gonna be the first thing. Y'all put that before everything. I'm putting what a woman's doing for me before everything. I hate to say it, but I'ma say it. You gotta get you a new broad because the old broad you got is always gonna try to treat you how you used to be. And dudes always choosing some bum broad to fuck with. What do that make you? Okay. A woman don't respect, but what she's forced to respect. Man, y'all know who it is. Y'all know what it is. GameGod Goldie, the one and only in the building on a special early day episode of the Goldie Hour. And I got a special guest in the business. We're going to talk money talk. We're going to talk that women talk. We're going to talk what these tricks is doing out here. My guy, introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, my name is ChiefSBS. Let's go, bro. Tap in.
Man, first off, man, where you from?
Yeah, I'm really from Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore.
So born and raised in Baltimore. East side, dropped out of college, bro, college dropout. You know what I mean? Went to Morgan State University.
Morgan State.
I had hoop dreams, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far you go with that?
Probably right to college. When I got to college, I really I wasn't like heavily recruited or anything like that. So
yeah. Man, listen, one thing about that, playing sports and shit, I be like, man, for most people, it's a waste of time. Because unless you going pro, it's almost like all that time you spend going to practice, going to games, traveling here. If you'd have put that time and energy into anything else, you'd have been that farther along in that. Instead, you if you end up your dreams don't happen, you got to restart from the bottom and something else,
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie though. Honestly, bro, it was I think growing up in Baltimore, right, even with sports, what happens is like it's staying out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? So really, like, I don't mind and idle
Devil
time.
playground,
like,
yep.
So it's like,
no, I feel that. Yeah, for sure.
For me, it was just like, yo, it really helped me. It changed my life really because it gave me something to do. When I got to college, how I got into the weed, following bitches, shit like that was like, I was idle time. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I started selling drugs and started doing that kind of stuff because now it's like I got idle time.
Nah, that's a fact. Idle time, devil playground. My mom had me playing sports, and I'm like, I don't even like sports. I ain't even that good at sports. But I get it now because all of my friends was going to jail. Look, saying as soon as I stopped playing sports is when I started going to jail. So it do make sense.
Yeah.
So you started in Baltimore. You had your hoop dreams. It didn't work out for you. Then what? You jumped into the streets right after that?
No, I mean so at Morgan State was crazy, right? It was easy. It was like easier to sell drugs. It was it wasn't like
college.
A block. Yeah, college.
What's that show? Power. Tyreek. He was at campus selling drugs, right?
Yeah. So it's just so much easier, right? Because it's not the same like watching over your back and stuff like that. Plus, I had some good connections and stuff like that. But really, bro, I started working a full-time job, and what's crazy is that I was at my job working. I used to work 68 hours a week. You know what I mean? And
68 hours a week. Damn.
Yeah, 68 hours.
Doing what?
I was working with people with like mental disabilities. So it wasn't like a lot of work, but it was like I used to spend a lot of hours because I wasn't making a lot of money. And I went on Google one day and looked up how to get rich, and Rich Dad Poor Dad popped up.
Oh, okay. You said you went on Google to say how to get rich.
Yeah, it was just like, yo, I'm trying to get rich. What I gotta do? You know what I mean?
How old were you when you did that?
I probably was like 21, 22, 21.
20. And you said Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
Because I ain't understand nothing about SEO back then. But when I typed in how to get rich, he just ranked high on Google.
Oh,
so that's what popped up.
How you feel about that book?
Yo, that's one of the main reasons I dropped out of college.
That book right there.
Yeah, because it was like, yo.
Somebody just told me that too. Somebody just told me they read that book and it changed and made them. What was he doing? I think he might have been in. He was trying to be a doctor. Matter of fact, he was going to school to be a doctor. He read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he was like, that book made me quit. He quit his whole medical dreams.
Yeah. Because it's like in the book, of course, like the rich dad is like the one that didn't even go to college and all that. And the poor dad got PhD. I'm a Morgan State student at the time. Yeah. So I'm like, oh hell no, I'm on the wrong track.
Yeah.
So it kind of made me pivot, and that's when I got network marketing. My first business ever was network marketing. And that's really what changed my mindset, bro. Being able to rewrite books, start listening to Jim Rohn, start listening to development.
Oh, I love that you said that. That's what changed my life. It wasn't Rich Dad Poor Dad, although I did read that. It was not As a Man Thinking, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I went to jail. That was the first book that I read. I never read. I was cheated all the way through school. Damn near couldn't even read.
Yeah.
Went to jail, humbled myself, read Think and Grow Rich changed my entire life.
Yeah.
Changed my whole life. The reason I am where I am now, that's why I advocate. I got a book list, and I always advocate. I always putting books on my stories in the morning, because reading literally changed my whole paradigm in my life. And I know you get the right book, the right information, it could change everything for you.
No, real shit. And that's the thing about books too, like just information. Well, if you apply it, the biggest thing, a lot of people have access to information, but they don't know how to execute on it.
Facts.
And so, like, even what you said with Think and Grow Rich, it really teaches you that you can't work and grow rich, but it's how you use your mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And it teaches you how to look at other successful people and other successful stories, and you can see your life in those same successful stories.
That's a fact.
You know
That's
what I'm
a
saying?
fact.
Even like I think Henry Ford White. No, was it Henry Ford White? That was the one left and took the kids, right?
Yeah.
Left and took the kids, and then like yo said, fuck it, still built this business, and then what she do? She came back, right?
Yeah.
She came back with the kids, and that's the thing that most men don't understand. Like, yo, you got to do what you got to do for yourself. Too often, what happens is that you listen to your girl and you got to get advice, and you listen to your girl and you got to.
Oh my goodness!
Like your girl will tell you exactly what to do, but really you can't be a man. You got to understand how to be a leader. And that situation, he like, man, fuck it. They left. Like, yo, I'm gonna be a leader. I'm gonna build my business. I'm gonna stay down. And even though she took the kids, like she came back because what else was she gonna do? He became successful.
Man, listen, what you saying right now, man, you know how many times I hear dudes saying, but my girl, I was going to invest in this mentorship. I was going to invest in this, but my girl this, my girl that. Yeah. Man, if I'd have listened to every broad I ever had, if I listened to most people that I knew, I wouldn't even be where I am. I did the opposite, literally the opposite of what everybody told me to do.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? You can't take advice. But I say it all the time, like, just recently, in probably the past 8 years, I had the realization my entire life I was getting advice from people next to me, and that's the worst thing to do. Yeah. You take advice for convenience. You're better off listening to yourself before you listen to somebody next to you, because they're in the same position as you. What type of information can they give you if they sitting in the same fucked up position as you? So I'm always asking my friend, asking my girl, or even asking a family member. We all in the same place. So why is your information more valid than mine? At least I know all of the facts. So that's why mentorship, reading books, and things of that nature, man, it's invaluable. I spent hundreds of thousands on mentorships. Literally changed my life. Even when I was in the streets, I paid for mentorships before it was a thing. See, now it's a thing. Yeah. Before, like in the past few years, mentorship, didn't nobody know what that was. I was doing that in the streets before anybody, and it took me 2 years to run circles around niggas that was in the streets for 10 because I was paying for game. Yeah. What you think about mentorship?
It changed my life too, bro. I mean, I was a college dropout, broke. You know what I mean? I didn't really know how to make money, didn't understand anything about financial literacy. So the thing about mentorship, I think, and the problem I think really is when you come from the hood, right? The biggest thing is like being able to say that somebody else put you on, or have it like that ego where it's like, yo, to be able to say that this person put me on. And I think the problem is that the reason why people are broke is because of their egos. Right? I have no ego.
100%.
If somebody give me information.
Me too. And you know what? That's a trait. I'm gonna let you finish. That is a trait that I see in successful people and unsuccessful people. I know people. The most unsuccessful is the people who think they know it all, think they got the most game, and they don't get no information. Me, no matter how big I get, I'm always looking to learn from somebody.
I'm looking to pay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't wait to pay for the game. Because you know what listen, what you get for free is worth probably that. Because even if somebody come to me, I'm generous. I might give you some game, but the type of game I'm gonna give you if you pay me for it's gonna be a whole different level.
Yeah, and like one of my mentors is like, yo, there's no transformation without the transaction. Yeah, right. Because when you don't make the transaction, what you don't realize is that you're not gonna do the work. You're not gonna put the grind in. You're not gonna do the things that you have to do to transform.
Thank you. You got to pay attention. Yeah, I tell people all the time, I would do you a disservice if I gave this game and didn't make you pay for it because you're not gonna use it. You're not going. So I'm doing you a disservice. Yeah. You giving people stuff for free, they're not gonna do it. Only time I'm gonna do something is when I'm invested in it and I paid for it. Yeah. You know?
And that's the thing that I think is different too, like, because some of it is like, yo, you just gotta be a person to execute, right?
Yeah.
Depending on who you are,
how bad you want it.
Yeah. Because depending on who you are as an individual, it's like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna go, like, even free game. I remember I went to an event, it was $4.97, but like it was game giving. It's like for $4.97, bro, I'm executing, I'm running play. I came back home, ran the play. Basically went and was able to get access to a loan for $35,000. It only cost me $4.97 a flight and a hotel to go get. Yeah. So it's like a lot of times I think people be in rooms or on podcasts and it's like you get the game, but then you don't go and execute on information that somebody gave you because you're afraid, right? And I think the reason, I think the reason why people are afraid though is like, yo, because people don't really believe in themselves.
Man, and that's why everybody asks, like, what should I do first? I say, man, one of the most important things, it's not discipline, consistency, even though those things are important. It's like in Think and Grow Rich, what he says, you have to get a burning desire. Yeah, I've developed some good habits, some good discipline, some good consistency. Yeah, I pay for mentorships. But the reason I'm here and a lot of people that started with me are not is because I've been having a burning desire to get rich since I was 14. And I was willing to go to cities and sleep in my car and figure it out before I stayed where I was comfortable because I wanted wanted it so bad. I want more so bad. I wanted the Rolls Royce so bad. I wanted the jewelry. I get butterflies in my stomach when I look over there and look at them $100 million mansions. When you got a burning desire, you going to do what it takes. And a lot of people just don't want it bad enough.
No, they don't. But that's because they hang around people. The biggest thing is that a lot of you are hanging around people that don't want to see you succeed, right? They want to keep you broke. They want to keep you in the same environment, right? Like we was talking about earlier, like the best decision that we made was moving out here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I moved from Baltimore. It's like when I was in Baltimore, I was making a certain amount of money. When I moved out here, my entire money shifted, my relationship shifted.
Proximity is that's the cheat code to life. When you get around people doing more, it's so uncomfortable to stay where you at.
Yeah, for sure.
And you could change your identity when you're around people that don't know you. If you're around people that know you and you try to become something different, it's going to be hard because they're going to be looking at you crazy. Like, man, who you think you are? Man, I know you. Or you're going to feel insecure yourself. Like, I'm trying to be something different, but these people know. So when you get away from everybody, guess what? If I meet you out here in Miami and you don't know me from nowhere, whatever I act like, you're going to accept it. So it's going to make me more comfortable to be something different.
Yeah. And that's crazy that you said that, because a lot of times when it comes to identity, it's understanding. Like even in the Bible, it say a prophet not recognizing his own hometown.
Yeah.
So you got.
I love that one.
Yeah, you got to get away from the energy, right? A lot of times people just hang around fake energy.
Man,
like you hang around
facts.
fake bitches, you hang around fake niggas, like you hang around the wrong energy.
Man, right. Motherfuckers be around you like you don't even like your best friend.
Right.
He don't even like you. All them little shots he do, he don't like you, you don't like him. Y'all just comfortable next to each other. You know, like,
and comfortable being broke next to each other too. That's the other part. Like, and not having access to information. And it's like, yo, it's cool. I remember like going to Baltimore. It's like when you got access to information or you became smart, it was like you was an outcast, right? Because you were smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes it so cool to be fucking dumb? Like, too many people was like, oh, glorifying being dumb. It's nothing cool about being dumb and not having access to information and not having access to resources.
Yeah, and in this day and age, it's like, man, information is everywhere.
Yeah.
So I see people like still like being in the streets. I'm like, bro, you know how stupid that is at this day and age. Maybe you could say, even back then, like you could say it, and I was still stupid. But now it's so much money at your fingertips. All you need is right information. And then almost all of this information is online for free. It's like, you just got, how bad do you want it? They don't want it bad enough. They'd rather chill, watch Netflix, go out, smoke a blunt, rather than getting on a computer and sitting down for hours researching where everybody's making money right now.
Lock in.
It blows my mind that people still want to build a brick and mortar store. I'm like, you know, you can sell digital products. You know, you could do internet marketing. You know, you could do this. Like you do funding. Matter of fact, talk about the funding, because I feel like funding is probably like one of the smartest things you can get into when you're starting out, because you're selling money and everybody needs money. Break down the funding that you do.
Yeah, for sure. So what we do is we help people get access to business funding, right? Whether business funding and personal funding, right? SBA loans, really any type of working capital. If you got a business right now and you have 20, 30, 40,000 coming to a business bank account, we can help you get access to funding as well, right? But the most important thing about funding, right, is understanding how to basically structure your credit report. The biggest thing that I see and the biggest myth that I see is that most people don't understand nothing about financial literacy.
Right. They just think you need a high credit score and that's it.
You need a high credit score. Oh, I just got to get an authorized user. Like, nah, bro, that's not how it pretty much works. You got to understand, like, there's certain factors that go into a credit report. One, utilization. Understanding, okay, like, if you have a credit card, how much are you using of that credit card? Understanding when they report that credit card to your credit report. Like, it's so many different factors that go into it. But I think about the thing about selling money that I see that people don't really understand is, like, even times like this, October, November, December, even as a business model, right, if you're selling money, there's no way you're not going to make money, because everybody is looking for money.
Everybody.
Especially in the holiday time.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, we got banks that we take people to. We got reps that we take people to help them get access to funding. And my thing is, like, I'm always educating people on different businesses, like you talked about, how to use the money, right, to, number one, grow your audience, right? Get on podcasts. Understand that you can actually spend money to get in front of other people's audiences on the internet and be able to grow your brand and grow your business.
Man, and they don't really understand, like, even how I got so big so fast. Of course, my content was decent, but it was collabing and paying for collabs with different people who already had an audience. There's people right now that say, oh, I remember when you got with Bandman a year and a half ago and you did this trip. And I see, you know, it's people that still remember me because I got in front of somebody's audience who already had a big audience, and I paid for that. Most people don't want to put their money down. Yeah. So you're not just showing people how to get the money. You showing, once they get the money, how to help them use the money right, rather than just going in debt. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, there's so many different ways you can start businesses. You got even in terms of like online business, right?
Yeah.
You got ways you can start an online T-Mobile franchise, right, where it's only $2.99 and you can get access to an online website where you can now acquire customers and make money.
Wow, I never heard of that.
You can also, like you talked about, digital products, right? So now, think about, like, if you already have a brick and mortar, you have a business of specialized expertise and knowledge. Okay, go. You can start a stand store, right? How that don't take a lot of money. Basically, set up your digital product using ChatGPT, which is basically you feed that information, it'll print the whole book, the cover, everything out for you. Boom, put that on a website. Then even if you do something just as simple as boosting a post, you can leverage your credit to boost posts and do advertising. Get an American Express card,
Man,
get 4 times the points
That's
for
some
advertising
game.
your business. And now pretty much you can make money digitally, right? So it's just understanding that everybody has an expertise.
They don't really know how much game you just dropped in that 60 seconds, though.
Yeah.
I hope they missed it because you giving a little too much.
No, but that's the thing about funding, bro. It's like understanding what to do with it, understanding what banks you can go to. There are certain banks that pull from different reporting agencies. It's understanding like underwriting guidelines and what banks are looking for. So what we like to do is really like from an education perspective, educate people on financial literacy. Because what happened to me as somebody who grew up in Baltimore, didn't understand anything about financial literacy. I had fucked up credit. I had repossessions. I had negative student loans. I dropped out of college, so of course I wasn't paying the student loans back. So even when it comes to credit being messed up, there are certain things that go into removing negative items. But then understand, okay, well, how do I rebuild my credit report back up so that when I go to banks, they just say yes?
What about people like, because I know a lot of people, and it's not that they don't got history, it's that they got $50,000 worth of credit card debt, and they got to the max. And they don't have the funds to pay that down. Should they? What should they do in a situation like that?
It's like, so look, what I would tell people is go to banks like Best Egg, go to a bank like SoFi, right? They do a pre-approval soft pull, right? What happens is that if you have credit cards with that's maxed out, instead of going debt consolidation route, go to SoFi, go to Best Egg, go to banks like even Navy Federal, do a debt consolidation. What happens is they will actually give you the money, right, straight to your direct deposit or straight direct deposit into your account, or they'll even pay the credit cards off for you. So you can put the different credit card numbers in, what you owe, XYZ, and they'll send the money straight to the credit card companies. And boom, now that you've basically turned the revolving credit card debt into an installment loan, now your credit score is going to shoot back up because your utilization dropped. Right.
Yeah. What type of interest do they have on those?
Sometimes
loans?
it could be 15, 18, 20%. What I tell people is this though. A lot of time when you look at interest rates, you gotta understand that credit card interest rates are gonna be anywhere from 27 to 30%.
Yeah.
APR, right? So if you go get a SoFi loan, let's say it's 18%, let's say it's 20%.
Yeah.
I mean, you still just saved 7% on a maxed out credit card that you pretty much had.
That's a fact.
So it's like, it's just understanding it's different factors that go into.
So do you do the funding? Do you help them fix their credit too, or they got to come to you with their credit fix?
I help them fix the credit too.
Okay, so they could come to you. So, because I know it's a lot of people in my group, they have this issue. That's why I asked it. So they could come to you for the credit. And then after they get their credit fixed, they could come to you for the funding.
For sure.
Okay.
And the thing about like even getting your credit fixed, giving them some game, like a lot of people just don't really leverage ChatGPT right now. Yeah. Right. So if you got different negative items, I mean, think about it like this, right? You got Supreme Court case laws. Okay, a lot of people don't think of it like, okay, you can go on ChatGPT, upload your credit report, and say, hey, look, draft me an affidavit using Supreme Court case law to get these negative items.
You giving so much game. Say that again, because we're gonna have to clip this up. Say that in that camera right now. What they need to do.
So if you got negative items on your credit report, what you do is you take your credit report, you upload to ChatGPT. You're gonna ask ChatGPT to draft you an affidavit, not a dispute letter, an affidavit, and ask for Supreme Court case law to remove the negative items that's pretty much on your credit report. ChatGPT is gonna spit the entire affidavit out. Then what you're gonna do is go to notarylive.com and you can actually get your document notarized right then and there, and then you're gonna send it off certified. You can go to onlinecertifiedmail.com and send it out certified. You can do this all from home, right? And a lot of people, oh, well, the government shut down, so we can't do FTC and we can't do CFPB. It don't matter. If you get an affidavit and get it notarized, that means it's an official sworn statement as you as a consumer. So we have consumer federal protected rights that most of you don't really understand. So this is really where you got to understand how to leverage ChatGPT to use the knowledge that it's artificial, that you don't have to know, but leverage it in terms of your situation. You can get anything moved off your credit report.
Damn, you just gave some people some game. And the funny thing about this, that is, a lot of people still ain't gonna do it. Yeah. But you just gave a whole lot of game. Probably 10% of the people who heard that gonna actually do it. So they could use ChatGPT to get their credit report fixed.
Yeah, AI. And you can use ChatGPT for anything. I use it for pretty much everything. Like when it comes to even different things I'm doing. When it comes to funding, right? You can go and ask, hey, ChatGPT, give me 15 or 20 banks that do pre-qualifications or pre-approvals or soft pulls. Yeah. That means it's not an actual hard inquiry, but they'll do a soft pull. They'll give you a bunch of different banks, plus they'll give you the websites. You can go in there and start applying right now and seeing if you can qualify for funding.
That's some game right there. I use ChatGPT. I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
So you just asked it, what banks do soft pulls?
Do soft pulls.
Dang,
And
you
you can
just
just, I mean, and okay, like, okay, what banks do, like if you got maxed out credit cards, stuff like that, right? Another thing with game, I mean, like, just to give a little bit of game is like understanding credit unions. You know, if you can go into American Consumer Council or Financial Fitness Association.org, if you go to one of those websites, sign up, you can now get access to a bunch of different credit unions, right? Most
yeah.
credit unions, right, are very lenient when it comes to giving access to funding, and you can do what is called, what we call it is double dip or triple dip. So like let's say, like let's use a bank like Alliant. Alliant, it's a credit union, it's in Chicago. What happens is that you can do one inquiry, right,
Yeah.
for Alliant, but you can get a credit card and you can get a personal loan on the same inquiry, and they pull from TransUnion
On the same
on the
inquiry.
same
And
inquiry.
you know which one they pull
And you
from.
know where they pull from. So it's like understanding different credit unions. Like me, I just went to John Hopkins from back home in Baltimore. All right, I did one inquiry. They pulled from my TransUnion. They gave me a $10,000 personal loan, and they gave me $25,000 on a credit card. So my one inquiry was good for $35,000. Right now,
Wow.
I can leverage that to go get at, really, like we talked about, other people's audiences. Like, hey, boom, hey Goldie, let me hop on your podcast, bro. Boom, I
Yeah.
can go to different audiences. Right, I can pay Hollywood Unlocked. We can, shout out pages, things like that, and you can basically, because the thing is that if people don't know you, they can't flow you.
That's a fact. It ain't the best, it's the best known.
Yeah, facts. So you gotta want to pay to get in front of other people's audiences and understand that OPA right now is the biggest currency
Other
issue.
people
People,
audiences,
other people
yeah.
audiences.
Hey, people really don't understand that, but if you see like all the top people, you see what they're doing. If you just model what the successful people are doing, they understand those dollars are going to go farther than you putting those dollars into just regular marketing, because people buy from who they trust and who they
they like.
know. And if they know the person whose podcast you're on, you already breaking down that first barrier, which you can't do through an ad online.
Yeah,
So
straight up.
people don't understand, like, this is really the cheat code. This is even how I came up so fast. Like this time last year, I was on every major podcast in the United States. And I put my money down for them. And to this day, people see me, oh, I saw you on this person. I saw you on this person. And that's the reason that I'm, almost 400,000 followers, and I've only been online for maybe 2 years.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, even Sprite pay LeBron. You know what I mean? If you look at,
Come on, right.
even Michael Jordan right now, he's signing Carmelo. He's signed different athletes, and they have Jordan brand shoes. So most people understand that if you get with other people's audiences, their likeness, their image, right, their names, things like that, you can pretty much make money off that. So
Do you so you teach people how to get into the online space?
yeah, I teach people how to get into the online space.
Let's help these people out, because a lot of people come to me for that too.
Okay.
What is the one thing you see stopping most people from doing the content like they should? Because a lot of people say they want to do it, but then they won't make the content. They won't put the content out there. What you think is really stopping most people?
Themselves.
Themselves.
Just
Yeah,
they,
for sure.
just they lack of belief, right? Because at the end of the day, what happens is that people will self-sabotage themselves from being successful because they got to be perfect. They got to have this.
They gotta be perfect. They think
Right.
they gotta be perfect before they start.
Yeah. It's always something outside of them. Look, all you really need is you, right? It's nothing outside of yourself. You think, oh, I gotta have the perfect setup. I gotta have the perfect camera. I gotta have this. I gotta have that. Like, no, if you got an iPhone, right, and you can set up Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, then pretty much you can get started. And the
Yeah.
biggest thing I'll tell you, if you really want to do content, start studying and doing research. And what do I mean by that? You can, whatever niche that you want to go into, right? Let's say I'm like Goldie and I want to sell game. Okay, cool. I can go on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I can search content that's dealing with giving people game, that's giving people advice, things like that. And then all I gotta do is look at what they did, and I can model my content after that.
Man, listen, I'm loving everything you talk about. You know what you're talking about, because you sound like me. That's the formula. You model the successful people. That's what you do. And then from there, then you start to get your own style and your own rhythm. But you don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Go see what works, what's working right now.
Yeah.
Do that. And then eventually you'll come to your own style, this, that, and the third. But what they say, good artists copy, great artists steal.
Yeah.
If you understand how anybody's doing things, you got to go with what's working. And that'll keep you motivated. Then you got to put the work in. A lot of people, they don't really understand what it actually takes to be successful. So they don't put in enough work. So therefore, they don't get the results they want, so it discourages them. If people just understood whatever you think you're doing, you need to probably do 10x what you're doing, then you got to do so much work that it would be unreasonable for you not to be successful. Most people just aren't around enough successful people. When I started paying for mentors and 100 millionaires and things of that nature, when I got around them, I was mind blown. I didn't realize how much work they was putting in. Everybody who has more than me is doing more than me. But if you're a regular person around regular people, you'll think what you're doing is enough. Until you get around high level people, you realize, oh, I'm not doing anything compared to these other people. But since you don't know these people, just take my word for it. Do 10x what you're doing. That's the bare minimum.
And the reason why you're not successful is because really you're selfish, right? Like it's all about you. See, when I was broke, I had a daughter. My daughter, right, was my world. I wanted to retire my mom, right?
Yeah.
So I had a reason why I needed to put the work in. I had a reason why I needed to be successful. I
Facts.
wasn't comfortable with watching my mom go to work every single day. I don't understand how you can be a grown ass man in
Come
America
on.
and be like comfortable with your mom going to work every single day and going
Oh,
to
I
work for
like
another
you,
man.
man.
You know what I'm saying?
You talking that shit right now.
It's like I wasn't never comfortable with that. Even when that was the case, it was like I was always working hard because I wanted to make sure one day she would never have to worry about working. My daughter right now, it's like I work hard every single day because I want to make sure that she don't have to start the same way that I had to start. So I think a lot of people, they are just lazy when it comes to a real why. Like, what is your real why? Oh, I want to retire my mom. But do you really want to retire your mom?
Yeah.
I want to retire there. I want to do, like, do you really want to do that? Is it because if that's really what you want to do, then how can you just get up, go to work, pay the bills, and do the same thing every single day and live the same life every year over and over and over again? Like most people got to realize that, yo, you can't keep saying that you really want to do things, but then at the end of the day, when it comes to your actions don't line up with what you say you really want to do.
Hey, I say it all the time. It's a line in the book. It says, you say you really want a thing, but your actions show that the thing that you're doing is what you really want.
Yeah.
Right? You say you want this, but what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
I had a friend. We were roommates, him, me, and my brother. And I had the master bedroom upstairs. It was overlooking the stairs. It was the only room up there. And every day I would come home from my job, get on my computer, be reading my books, and I would come out and I would look at him and all our friends downstairs smoking weed. Yeah. And slowly but surely, the gap started. And probably 7-8 years later, I see him in Vegas. He was like, man, I remember when you was always upstairs reading your books. You was always, and I was like, that was the difference. You wanted to do that. I really wanted more. That's where it goes back to having a burning desire, whether it's for your kids, whether it's for your mom, whether it's for yourself. You have to really want what you want. And I don't feel like there's anything that can substitute a burning desire. That's why I tell people, cultivate a burning desire. Write down those goals. A lot of times people's goals aren't big enough. So because your goals aren't big enough, you're going to procrastinate because the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Yeah. You have such little goals that even if you get them, it's like, for what? Yeah. But when you have big goals, when you talking about $50 million messages, when you talking about taking care of your family, and it gets you excited to do the work because you think, if I do get what I want, I'm going to have this. People's goals aren't big enough. It's a book called, The Magic of Thinking Big, and it talks about this. You have to have goals that you don't even think that you can accomplish, because that's the only thing that's going to have you think big enough to get you excited to move.
Yeah. And that's the thing about thinking big too. Like, you understand your dreams should encompass your family. It should encompass other people, right? If your goals are and when you talk about, because a lot of people do have goals, but they just aim so low. And because they're so low, they actually hit their goals.
Yep.
Right? It's like your goals should be so big where it's like, damn, I ain't even hit my goal.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if you shoot for the moon, what they always say is that you
land on the clouds. Yeah, I love that saying.
Yeah. So
that's what they say. Ted Turner, he was like owned all the stations back in the day, was a billionaire. He said that his dad would say, you have to shoot for goals that you don't think you could accomplish in this lifetime. And like a lot of my huge mentors, that's the type of goals that they set. Like, you have to shoot for things that you don't even think you could accomplish. Because it's like, if you say, how do I make $100,000 a month? You're going to think within that bounds. But if you think, what if I can make $20 million a month or $50 million? When you start thinking that, your actions become bigger. Your think becomes bigger. And even if you don't get there, you're going to go way past that 100,000. Most of the time, you're probably not going to hit what you think you're going to hit. So shoot so big that even if you get 0.25% of that, you're going to be so big. Yeah. It's just like you say, it's our own self. It's our own limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, and just our own thinking stops us.
And that's the thing I think about even moving out, bro. Like, moving away from the city. Like, moving away from Baltimore, like you moving away from California, what happens is that you get around other experiences, you get around other people, you see the lifestyles yourself. And I think even like when it comes to women, right? Like, think about it. It's like a lot of time we deal with women. Like, when I was growing up in Baltimore, I dealt with a lot of women in Baltimore because that was my environment, right? Yeah. But the same women that I used to deal with back then, or would look at back then, I wouldn't look twice at them now.
Yeah, I say that all the time. When you start elevating, it's the women that you want, you're not even gonna want when you can have them.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, it don't even make sense, because a lot of times, even at that particular point, women don't really have value to add to your life, right? Even like, think about it, when you're in business and you deal with a woman that's like, okay, she might work a 9 to 5, which is okay, but what happens is that I'm looking for a woman who can add value, right?
Yeah.
Like, who can look at what I'm doing, what I got going on, and give me different, like, value, and say, okay, hey, do it like this, do it like this. Like you said, with mentorships and things like that. I would never deal with somebody who was like, yo, don't invest in mentorship. Right. Because that's a basic stake broke call, or stay where I'm at call.
A selfish woman who low key wants you to use that money on her rather than use it on something for yourself.
And investing in your mindset.
Yeah. See, a lot of people don't get that. And to your point, when you go to a different city, when I come to Miami, when I went to Atlanta, even when I first went to Las Vegas, when you start seeing just seeing supercars everywhere. When you start seeing a lot of people living big, when you start hearing people talk about, I'm making $50,000 a month, I'm making $150,000 a month, what it does, it makes it believable in your mind. And it don't matter what your skills are. If you don't believe it, you're going to subconsciously self-sabotage yourself. So just getting around people, hearing the stories and being around successful people makes it believable. And soon as it's believable, that's really the biggest part, is getting out your own mental way, feeling like it's possible. Then you'll do the work. A lot of times we slow up or we self-sabotage ourselves in these ways because deep down inside, we don't believe that we can make it there anyway. So once you can take that release break off of a belief, and the fastest way to do that is get around people already doing it. But now we talking about these women right here. I like what you said. A woman got to come and bring value. A lot of these dudes were never taught that. They were taught that they supposed to bring this, they supposed to bring that, and the woman just got to be here. That's because they've been programmed by society and TV and movies to something that don't even make sense. But if they unlock the makeshift of their mind for a moment, they would realize that don't make sense. In what world, in what way is something going to work out beneficially if it's not an equal reciprocation in a relationship?
For sure.
What man said from his own mind, I'm going to do everything for this person and not expect anything back? Anything unbalanced in the universe is headed for destruction. That's why most relationships don't work. But people, they don't understand this thought. How did you have this mindset when most people the opposite mindset?
Honestly, bro, it's like when you grow up in the city, right, and you see how different women operate. I think the biggest problem that I think with men is that they haven't dealt with enough women.
Facts.
Right? Because if you start and like, when I say dealt with enough women, you got to see different situations. I remember like when I was in high school, I was working at McDonald's, and it was this girl that I dealt with, right, who had a boyfriend, and I was actually with her, right, you know what I mean, with her the night before. The next day was her boyfriend's birthday. You know what I'm saying? So she was with me one night, and the next night she was with her boyfriend. And it's like, yo, when you start seeing different situations like that, it raises your awareness to understand that women pretty much operate differently than how you really think.
Oh, come on, listen. That's all I try to do is dispel the myth of what they think a woman is. From TV, from fairy tales, from what women portray, is that women are these angelic beings. And what they don't understand is this is the furthest thing from the case. Right? I lived in Vegas. So I saw the bachelor parties, and even women would come with their boyfriends and sneak off and come see me and my friends, or it'll be women at bachelor parties getting married the next day, having sex with the guys at the party. And if you haven't seen that, you don't believe that. So therefore, you just believe everything a woman says and is. These women are more like us than you think. They just have, because society has so much pressure on them, they have to put on this facade, and they're very good at it because they have to put on this facade at a very young age. So if you don't know this, you're gonna get fucked.
And that's why I feel like most men just don't have enough experiences. Like because experience is always the best teacher, right? And so and by me growing up in the city, it's like, yo, I seen the different experiences, whether it was my experience, one of my homeboys' experiences. So by seeing the different experiences, it's like, all right, bet this is how women really operate. Now it's like, to like what you always say, that you like who likes you. It's like, yo, think about it. Like a lot of times, as you said, men are taught to go and get flowers and do this and do that, but it's like, yo, you're doing all that for a woman that don't even fuck with you.
Exactly.
She don't like you.
She don't like you.
Think about it. It should not be that hard. Like, yo, if a girl really like you, you don't gotta do nothing, bro. You don't have to do anything extra.
Because you are that to her.
Because she wants you. Right? Like, what did Chris Brown gotta do? Like, how
straight up?
What does he have to really do?
Not a motherfucking thing, but be there, but show up.
Just show up, right? So it's like a lot of times the problem is that most men chase after women who don't really want them and don't really like them, and this is why you feel like you get used, right? Because you're getting used because you're not understanding and recognizing your position as a man to know who really likes you, who wants you.
Deep down inside, I feel like these dudes subconsciously know. And that's why they're doing this and doing that, because they know they're not enough. They know deep down inside this woman doesn't really like them. That's why they're doing all of this and won't stop doing it, because they deep down inside know that. But that's why I'm all about, hey, build yourself up, mind, body, and soul. Be the person that you admire when you look in the mirror, because when you become that, then you're not looking for the validation from the woman. You feel so good in yourself, you can appreciate the woman that appreciates you. See, these dudes are so deficient within themselves. They're looking for validation from other men. This woman treat him like shit, take all of his money, but because she looks good to other people, even though he's going to hell at home, because when people see him, he gets validation from these other people. But when you build yourself up and you self-validate, man, I don't care what you think about this broad next to me. No, she doing something for me and she making my life better. And that's all that matters, because I self-validate. So the thing is, it's a deficiency within these dudes that they're trying to cover up with this woman to make them feel whole when they really got to do the internal work.
And that's and bingo, bro. It's the work, right? It's the internal work. One, understand you do got to go make money.
Yeah.
Like it's 2025. You do need to go get the 30, 40, $50,000 a month or more, right? Like you got to put the work in and go make money. The other thing is that you do when it comes to financial literacy and fixing your credit and being in position, right? Because when it comes to getting your own apartment, a lot of time when I was from Baltimore, I seen a lot of niggas had to stay with their girls because their credit was fucked up and they couldn't go get their own spots.
And when you can't just up and walk out when it gets disrespectful,
Yeah.
and it's gonna get more disrespectful.
It's gonna get even worse.
The only thing that you have with a woman to show respect for yourself is to walk away when she starts treating you in a way that you don't feel like you deserve. And if you living with her, you can't walk away. So now you got to take it.
You got to take it. And because you can't stand on your own 10.
Yeah.
Like a lot of time women are disrespectful too because they know that you can't stand on your own 10 because they know that you need them. Imagine being in a position where it's like, yo, I want you and I want to be here and I want to be with you, but I don't necessarily need you.
Bitches don't respect nothing but a nigga who willing to walk away. And that's why most dudes don't have respect. It was a saying in the game. It don't matter. I get paid, I don't get bought. I don't care how much money this woman come in with. If she ain't handing it to me in the right way with the right attitude, bitch, you can keep it. I'll turn down $1 million because my manhood is worth more than that. And guess what? When you have an attitude like that, you can tell the bitch, nah, bitch, I don't want it. She would want to throw the money at you because she respects it so much because most men are able to be bought so easily, whether it's with pussy, whether it's with her, doing her little cute little baby talk. Men are so easy, but when you really stand in who you are and ready to walk away from it, that's all a woman respects because most men would never.
And the thing about being able to walk away, right, is like, it really just come back to one, are you putting yourself in position to make money or educating yourself and growing your mindset, growing and developing yourself? The other thing is, do you have your own financial backing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, because if you don't have your own financial backing, that's the reason why most men can't walk away. You can't walk away because where are you going to go? You're going to go on your mom's couch or you're going to go on somebody else's couch. And it's like, yo, that at the end of the day, most women don't respect that. They're not going to respect somebody they know that basically without them, they can't really survive and they can't be nothing without them. So you got to be able to, like, yo, do the work, what my man said, you got to do the inner work.
Yeah, you got to. And it don't take long, but at the end of the day, it's something that must be done eventually, so you might as well start it now. Yeah. These dudes spend all their time chasing these women when they should be putting that time into themselves. You're not even catching the woman that you should be with. You catching women on a level you should be surpassing, right? And you're going to stay on that level because you have this woman on that same level and it's going to be a drag. Most of these dudes should sit themselves in the house for a year straight and do nothing but work on themselves, work on a business, and see where they at. And when they finally pop out the house, they going to catch somebody on a higher level.
But the thing about working on your business, right? Locking in, right? What happens is this. A lot of times if you lock in on your business, lock in on your goals, right? You're going to find that the woman is going to find you. Yeah. Right? Like I remember when I first moved out here, I was going to networking events. I was going to real estate events. I was locking on just to understand, okay, I just moved to Miami. I need to network. I need to get outside. Yeah. When I started networking, getting outside, like this is how I started meeting women. It's like, yo, what do you do? I help people. I teach people how to rob the banks legally. Oh, I want to learn how to rob the bank. So now I'm building relationships and it's like, all right, but now I'm seeing who's valuable. Now I'm seeing who can add value, right? At the end of the day, I understood that my credit is straight. So now even when I go out and I buy food and I choose to take you out with me, now I'm going to also get reward points. This is not something where I'm not also benefiting. It's a tax write-off as well because I'm a business owner. Yeah. So now it's like, yo, it has to benefit you in multiple different ways. A lot of times because men are not positioning themselves to understand how something can benefit them, it's like, yeah, you chasing. Like, yo, I never had to chase. I'm always going to attract. Right. I'm going to attract the woman that's going to be there for me. And I'm always chasing my goals. I'm building my business. So in the midst of that, that's how I used to meet women because I'm chasing my goals.
And that's attractive to women. When you have something go on, they looking at what your future potential is going to be, and it's attractive. When you're not chasing her, you're chasing your goals, then she going to chase you. But if you worried about her, then she going to play that pull away game. I don't got to play that game because I'm always pulling towards my goals, so she got to play keep up and catch up. Straight up. And like you say, like when you start to have a business and have things going on, you start to meet women on that type of time. Like when I'm doing business, I'm going to networking events. So therefore now I don't have to have no slick pickup lines. I'm actually really talking about what we could do. Maybe you could come on my podcast. This is what you should do. This is what I'm doing. This is what my friend doing. So the conversation flows naturally. And then you're meeting people on your level that could help you do something rather than you just trying to get this broad you want to lay down with for a minute that's adding nothing, really just taking time, energy, and money from you.
Straight up. And all she really can give you is a nut. You know what I mean?
What do you think about these women out here who say, if a man want to be with me, he need to pay for everything. I can't be in my feminine unless a man pays for everything. What do you think about that?
Yo, I really think that men just need to understand that, like, you need to go out there and work as hard as you can so that you can let a woman be in her feminine, whatever that looks like. Now, in a relationship, I do believe that when it comes to women, when it comes to men, like whatever works for y'all, right? Like you gotta establish that. And back to what you said, a lot of times the problem with relationships is that you're looking for validation outside of the relationship instead of what validates
100%.
both of y'all inside in the relationship.
100%.
But for men, I feel like, as a man, you should have a goal to want to do everything, pay all the bills, because like as a man, bro, God called you to provide and protect. So at the end of the day, now if you're not in that position, you still need to understand how to act like a man and still act in a leadership role even until you get into that position, but still be able to sit down and have the proper conversations and be able to communicate. But I do think as a man, and it's for all men, you should want to pay all the bills. You should want to be able to do all of that because at the end of the day, you were given dominion, and it's because you can. You can do it. You know what I'm saying? It's not because somebody's making you do it. You should want to do that.
Do you think that a woman should be vetted before that treatment of provision is given to her?
So the thing is, like, I think you should definitely vet women. The biggest thing I will tell you this, though, is that I was already going to do it for myself anyway. See, I was going to pay all my bills anyway. I'm going to feed myself. I'm going to do all that stuff for myself anyway. Yeah. And so if I bring somebody into my life and I bring you into this, like, yo, you should.
But before you bring her into your life, do you vet and make sure that she's not coming in? Because a woman could see something and say, man, he got a nice house, a nice car, he's doing big things. Yeah. A lot of women, their only job in life is to find somebody to take care of them. Yeah. So does it matter? Well, this is the question. Does it matter to you if a woman is coming and acting right because of what you giving, or is she coming because she like you? Does it even make a difference to you? Because some dudes, they say it don't make a difference. As long as she acting right, it don't matter. But does it matter? Do you say, I don't care if she's just over here because it's beneficial? Or do you say, nah, I actually want a woman who likes me?
No, check this out though, right? The way I vet is like I vet based upon how someone can add value or how they add value to my life without me having to tell them.
I love that.
You know
Come
what I'm
on.
saying?
Ain't no better. If I don't have to tell you and you do it, come on.
Yeah. So I think that's where, like, it's not necessarily a vetting process. I think that, and this is where I think as a man, if you just operate and you building your businesses, you doing the things that you gotta do, you stand on your purpose, right? People gonna come in, a woman gonna come in and see, okay, I can add value here. I can
want to.
Yeah, I can do this, I can do that. Or it's just like little suggestions. The other thing I say about men though, even with our egos, we gotta recognize when the woman is adding value though. Like if she give a suggestion, like just because, like, let's say it come to content, you know what I mean? She might not be a content creator, but she might be able to see audiences, how people comment. Like we got to understand that women have different values and like how they add value to us. Sometimes it's not exactly how we see it. Yeah. And so it's being able to recognize what value looks like when it comes from a different sex and when it comes from a different position, especially when it's all love. So I think for me, my vetting is like, I ain't vetting. I'm not here to vet like, oh, you know, do you look good or are you around when I want you to be around? I'm here to vet and see like, okay, boom, if I'm doing something, I'm building my purpose. Can you add value? Can you do something where it's like, all right, I even made money. She put me in a room, gave me some connections. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
No. I like that. A woman who adds value. That's a great listen. Is she adding value, and do I have to ask her to do it? Because I tell women all the time, she'll be like, well, I'll be like, well, make it up to me. She'll be like, well, what do you want me to do? If I got to tell you, it don't mean nothing.
Straight up.
I want to see what's going to come from you. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Because then I can tell you what to do. You can do it. You'll get a little points. But the woman who comes from her soul of what she wants to do is going to show me everything about you.
Because look, a woman is either doing one or two things. She's either additional or she's subtracting. Right.
Hey, that's everything in life. You either growing or dying. That person needs to take it or add into your life. And I said, and it's that clean cut.
Straight up.
Yeah.
So that's why I think for men too, but if you grind on your purpose, we'll stay on your purpose. Like really, you shouldn't even have time for that. You shouldn't have time for that. You should, and then what happens is that if you don't have time for that and someone steps up and start adding value, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it automatically because it's like, yo, damn, that was really nice that she did that today. Damn, I like that connection that she put me on today. Oh, she connected me with a couple people. I can make some money, things like that. Like a lot of times it gotta directly affect your purpose.
Most men should just focus on their business and their purpose, because most women are just going to slow them down. Unless you have some game, a lot of dudes don't even know how to extract that type of value or even see that type of value in a woman anyway. Yeah. So it's like, man, for most dudes, if you ain't got no game about yourself, it's better off to just focus on where you're trying to get to. And then once you get there, then you got the time to deal with the pullback, because that's what it's going to be most of the time. Unless a woman is really, I'd say it all the time, like in the game, I'd be like, man, bitch, you got to throw the trap at me, which is money. Yeah. Like, bitch, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If you want me to catch it, bitch, you better throw it at me, because I ain't even got time to slow down for you.
Straight up.
You know, and that's how most
it's
dudes
so crazy
be.
because like even with business though, when you grind and hustling, right? Like when you got people to take care of, bro. When you retire,
your payroll, I got this, I got a child, I got this, I got that. The only woman who could be here is one. And my uncle used to say it all the time. He said, "I'm not worried." He said he would sit us down like these game sessions, and he would be like, "Man, what you think? How you think a boss player day goes?" And we all sitting around, we like, "Huh? What you mean?" He's like, "How do you think a boss player day goes?" And he was like, "Do you think he's worried about a bitch?" We like, no, he ain't worried about a bitch. He's like, then why are y'all so worried about a bitch?
Yeah.
A boss player is worried about his business, his family, his health, his mindset. He said, you worried about where you going, and the bitch better catch up and keep up.
Straight
and
up.
if it ain't like that, the relationship ain't gonna be right. You need to be so focused on going forward in life that the bitch see the value in you and where you going, and she trying to catch up and keep up. That's it.
That's it. And then it's got to be somebody else on your same level that see the world the same, that understand what you on, and that basically can help you get the way you trying to go. And at the same time, as a man, you got to be valuable as well. That's why it is about making money. That's why it is about not just having your credit, but developing your mindset, developing yourself.
Getting in the gym, eating clean, developing your mind, doing things that's not just about making money, but developing you in your character. That's why I always start with that, man. You could talk how I talk, but the reason I talk how I talk ain't because I'm just talking, is because I really feel like that, because I be doing the work every day. So when I walk outside, I don't need validation from everybody else, because I really feel like I am that, because I have the evidence on what I've done today. Most people ain't doing that. That's why I always say, man, we got to start with the basics.
And that's why, I think the biggest problem too is like when you do start making money, people don't realize that making money is really a byproduct. It's a byproduct of the work that you already put in, the self-development, the books that you read, the things that you put into your thing, like how you feed your mind. I think a lot of times people listen too much rap music and all that, and it's like, yo, you got to realize that that's not building your mindset.
Cheat code to life, man. I be telling people all the time, like, people like, how you talk like this? How you talk like this? Hey, man, when I was going cross country with my hoes, man, back in the day, I was listening to I used to get all audiobooks and courses on torrent. Back in the day, you had to download torrents.
Yeah.
And from LA to Arizona to Las Vegas, these hoes in the back. I'm like, shut up. This is what we listened to for 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
And I did that for years. When I go to the gym, I wasn't listening to no music unless I was on the treadmill. I was listening to audiobooks. I was listening to courses. So you got to think, 365 days I go to the gym. You're listening to music. I'm listening to some information that's going to grow my mind. Yeah. In a year, I'm 365 hours ahead of you in personal development. Yeah. Let's time that by 3-4 years. You're never going to catch up with me with this information because you wanted to listen to music. Only time I listen to music in my car is when I'm with females or if I'm with my homies. Otherwise, I'm listening to an audiobook or YouTube or something. You don't understand what that does. But like you said, people don't understand. And then you don't understand your subconscious. You sitting here listening to these repetitive mantra affirmations in these songs, and you don't know that's seeping into your brain and manifesting into your reality.
Straight up. And that's why people are broke though too, because part of it is what you listen to. Part of it is think of, we eat certain food every single day, but you don't feed your mind. I know people that have bought the new iPhone and keep upgrading their iOS system, but they ain't upgrade their other system, their actual mind system.
That's some game right there.
You know
That's a fact. I think maybe just because of the circles that we in, everybody that I know is working on themselves, their personal development, understand their mind, trying to stay off devices. But I think, and that's why it's great to get into environments like this, because you meet people like you and me. We met at a networking event. Yeah. Everybody there's doing something. Everybody there's trying to be a better person. But it's some people, they're not in those circles. They're not trying to go to those places. And it's real easy to maintain being who you are when everybody around you is like that. Sure. Man, I be out here in Miami. You know what dudes do? Be like 7 in the morning. They be like, hey, we all going to the gym. Bunch of content creators. We going to the gym to get a workout in. That's what they talking about. Yeah. So environment is everything. I wanted to touch on this though, because you were saying you wanted to make sure a woman add value. Man, I'm big on a woman adding value. I always look to see where she's adding value. And I do understand value is not always monetary. Yeah. A woman's right energy. Yeah. I be cutting heads sometimes. A woman who could come in and when I'm being negative and not be like, yeah, she shouldn't have did that, and calm me down and see the positive. Yeah. That to me, that's value. Yeah. So I can see the value, like you said, like some of these dudes don't recognize the value that a woman brings. Yeah. You got to recognize things like that. Yeah. And teachability index. Yeah. A woman's teachability index is probably one of the most highest priorities on my list. She has to be teachable and she has to have a high willingness to learn, because if she's not teachable and doesn't have a high willingness to learn, she's never going to change, which means she is stuck where she is. And I'm always growing and evolving, which means I'm going to grow and evolve past her and she's going to be a drag. Yeah. But a woman I will take a woman on a mental level of 4 over a woman on a mental level of 8. If that 8 has a low willingness to learn and a low willingness to change. Yeah. If that 4 has a high willingness to change, I know she could be a 10 one day. So I really look at if a woman has a high willingness to learn and a willingness to change.
And I think that's the thing too, bro, because when you think about willingness to grow and willingness to change, that means that you have to be a man of value that can actually teach right? That can actually give value. If you don't have that to give, or you don't have that to teach, then why would you understand the teachable, the index, right? You wouldn't understand it because it's like, yo, I don't have nothing to give you.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like even with men, it's like, yo, they learn from their women, but it's like they have nothing to get back to they have nothing to pour into. And in life, if you're someone who is like, yo, I always got to pour into you, but I can't get poured into, that's a disadvantage, right?
Man, that's called a parasite.
Yeah.
A parasite takes and takes and takes from the host and doesn't give back. And that's what a lot of these women are. But I'm not mad at them because it wasn't like the parasite just got on this person unwillingly. These guys are willingly letting this parasite just take from them. And to me, it shows your lack of self-love, because there's no way that you can really love yourself and allow somebody to take without giving back. Yeah. You feel so deficient within yourself, you allow. It's like people who buy their friends or buy the woman. You feel so much lack within yourself that you would rather have people around that don't like you, that only take from you, than be by yourself. That's an internal issue. So you get what you deserve.
Yeah, that's a fact. Because that's, and like you said in life, I mean, in life, you are what you attract, right? So if you attract parasites, that probably means that you're a parasite as well, right? Like if you attract something different, I mean, you're probably different. So it's really about what you attract, and that's why you have to raise your level of energy.
Yeah.
And this is where affirmations, different books, and development, because you can actually raise your level of energy, your understanding, things like that. And the thing is, like, working on yourself never stop. That should never be daily. It should be a daily thing.
Man,
I remember I remember getting a call with girls, and the girl getting a call with me, and it's like, yo, this what you listening to? Yeah, I listen to this shit every day. Every morning I wake up, I'm listening to development. I'm not never taking a day off, because I understand when I was broke what I was doing. And when I was broke, I was listening to music every single day. These are the things I was doing that kept me broke. So now that I'm making money, I'm not going to change. I'm a 10x it and get more books and listen to more audios.
That's smart. What a lot of people do is they get a modicum of success and they stop doing things that got them there, and then they go back down, and their entire life is this up and down flow because they stopped doing the things. And that's happened to me a lot of times, until I got to the point where I was like, I recognize this happening. Every time I get on my shit, my affirmation, my reading, my grind, my time blocking, my everything right, my life goes up. My money goes up. Now I get to partying. Now I get to stop slowing down on the affirmations in the morning, stop doing the meditation. And then I start to slide back down. Then in a frenzy, I do it all again, come back up. I was like, why do I keep going down? Once I get on top, let me just keep going and let me see how far I can take this thing.
Yeah. And that's important. I mean, affirmations is important.
I had a mentor. I'm not to cut you off, I'm gonna let you go, but I had a mentor. Matter of fact, 3 different of my mentors. One was really heavy on affirmations, and it was in his program. The other 2 didn't ever talk about it in our mentorship, but when I befriended them, they were telling me, one, he would write his down every morning and night, and the other one was Sam. And I'm like, these dudes aren't telling us this in the mentorship. Why is that? Because it's one of those airy-fairy funny things. But I'm like, this is what you actually do. So you're not even telling people what you do. And then my one mentor, he was like, no, you have to do this. And he's been doing it for 40 years. And he had over $1 billion in collective from him and his students, businesses that they sold. So, and this is what I thought, because I was like, I don't know. I said, when they say, how bad do you want it? And I would think, in the morning, I see my list of things I need to do. I'm like, should I do these affirmations? I'm like, well, how bad do you want it? I want it bad enough to where I will see what this does. And I don't know, maybe it's just in my mind, but man, when I started doing my affirmations every day, it seemed like my life changed like a miracle. So I don't know. They say in the morning, when you wake up in the morning, your brain is in alpha state, which means your subconscious is wide open. So those affirmations bypass your conscious mind to make you accept these certain commands. And at nighttime, right before you go to sleep, same thing. So what they claim is you're really just seeding and putting ideas into your subconscious mind that your conscious mind would normally reject. So when I understood the science, I'm like, you know what? If these successful people are doing them, I'm gonna do it. Don't take but 5 minutes, so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. And it's just, to be a leader, you got to understand how to be a good follower at the same time. But it's following the right people, right? Following the right things.
Yeah,
so
that's a fact.
When it comes to mentorship and when it comes to coaching and things like that, like you said, bro, I locked in on affirmations. Even when it comes to in the morning, getting in the shower, like you said, I'm locked in the affirmations, and I'm definitely listening to personal development. And I think another thing is repetition, right? Even certain personal development, I listen to it over and over and over and over again, because a lot of times changing your philosophy and changing your mindset is understanding you gotta get rid of all the shit that you had before, and it's going to take a lot of time to kind of let stuff go in over and over and over to really change your life.
And you read enough books, you realize a lot of these books are saying the same thing in different ways. And what I realize is, man, you need to be reminded more than you need to be taught. It's not so much that I didn't read this before, but top of my morning, getting my mindset right by reading that one thing or reading that one thing about discipline. It's just we got so many thoughts going through our head. Sometimes you need to just be reminded of these things because you can't just but eventually it becomes you. Like you say, you listen to it over and over and over and over. Eventually it seeps into your subconscious and it becomes you, and then you move in that way. So that's why I always repeat. And I've been reading the same books, man. Like As a Man Thinking, I've probably read it 100 times, and I'm gonna keep reading it because it's reminding yourself those principles every single day. And a lot of a lot of my favorite books, like Think and Grow Rich, it's about that inspirational feeling it gives you when you're reading these stories about rags to riches, which makes it more possible for you and just gives you that spark. Whatever I can do, like Tony Robbins talks about it all the time, like the right state. Getting into the right state. Your frequency is what you frequently see. The world is not a window, it's a mirror. Whatever you are is what you're going to see. So whatever I can do in the morning to put myself in that high frequency state, I'm going to act like that, and I'm going to get the interactions from women, from men, from business, from opportunities because I'm in that state. And for me, books do that for me.
No. And that's why paying for information and paying for the right mentorship and stuff is important, right? I was at an event recently, and it's like, okay, I want to scale my business and things like that. And what happens even when you want to scale a business, it's still that people don't understand is that you don't know what you don't know.
Man.
Right. And that's the biggest,
and that is so big because it's so counterintuitive. Yeah, it's things you know, it's things you don't know you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that you don't know, but it's the things that you don't even know that you don't know. And that's why there's an invisible glass ceiling on a lot of people, because you don't even know the thing that you don't know. And it could take you 10 years to figure that out. But if you have mentors, if you go and you read, it might be somebody who could see something you can't see and unlock that thing that you might never, you'll went your whole life and never unlock.
And that's why you got to get into the right rooms. Like you said, like think about the room that we was in. I mean, you got to at least pay anywhere from 15 to 25,000 to even be a part of that mentorship. So that means that to even get in that room, you have to be someone of value, that saw value in yourself, to spend that type of money on yourself.
Exactly.
Right? And to develop your mindset, to develop your business, develop your goals and things like that. So it's very important, I think. And most people just don't understand how to do it at where they at right now. Like you said, you can go and get Think and Grow Rich. You can go get As a Man Thinker.
Yeah.
Those are investments that you can make into yourself, but then it's the time that you take to read those books and execute on the information that have really changed the way that you think. Because if you change the way that you think, then everything around you will change.
Everything. You know, I don't know who said it. I mean, it's probably a bunch of people, but change your thinking, change your life. And that is a fact. When you change how you think, and you will literally, your reality is literally a mirror of how your internal thinking. So when you start putting these and seeding these great ideas and great stories into your mind, you're going to start to see the opportunities. They say it's billions of bits of information that go through your brain every day. So it filters stuff out. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to function. What does it filter out? What you don't pay attention to. So with affirmations, with reading the right things, with getting around the right people, it's putting in your brain what to focus on. So now what is your brain going to filter out? It's going to filter out everything but those things you're focusing on, those successful things. So now you start to see opportunities, like when you buy a new car and you see it everywhere, because that's what you told your brain to focus on. So with books and affirmations, you're telling yourself to focus on opportunities and success, then you're going to start to see more of it.
Because everything in terms of opportunity, even like everything happens for you, it doesn't happen to you. A lot of people get down on themselves when things happen. It's like, bro, that didn't happen to you. It was something for you. So now you got to be able to recognize the opportunity, right?
That's a huge mindset.
And not the obstacle. Too many of y'all focus on the obstacle, not the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that goes to raising your level of awareness, because if you can raise your level of awareness, you'll start recognizing all the opportunities and you won't even see the obstacles. It'll just be something you just run right over.
When I read Think and Grow Rich, it was a part in there. He said there's a seed of an equal or greater positive in every negative situation if you take the time to find it. And I heard that and I just believed it. In my entire life, it doesn't matter what happens, no matter how bad, I always be like, I know if I can humble myself and have the mindset to find the positive in this, I will. And there's never been a situation in my life that seemingly was negative, that a more beneficial situation and outcome came because of that mindset that I got from a book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, hey, reading is major. I mean, for me anyway.
No, reading. I'm telling you, even audiobooks, like you said, reading audiobooks, anything that can help develop your mind. Because the one thing that we all come here is dumb and naked, but at the end of the day, it's all on how you develop your mind, the stuff that you put into your mind. Really, once you put that stuff into your mind, there's no way you can go back. That's why I can't go back to listen to music every single day.
And that's the scary part. Once you unlock that, it's like you can't unsee. Once that curtain comes up, you can't unsee it. Once you get that first idea, you'll never be able to go back.
Because if you can see it, you can seize it, right? The same thing with making money. I remember, like you said, growing in Baltimore for me is like getting into having a $10,000 a day, having a $20,000 a month, having $30,000 a month. Like, it's like, yo, how do I continue to have this type of success? But then you get to the point where it's like, all right, how can I double this? How can I triple this? Because now your mind unlocks to say, okay, well, how can I start doing this? And then from there, it's like, okay, when you achieve that, then you start having 50, 60, 70,000 a month and it's consistent. It's like, all right, damn, how do now I can do 100,000? Well, now I can do 200,000. Because like now everything happens where it's like, you actually see it, you seize it, but then now it's like, okay, it raises your level of awareness so that you can go do more and be more. And this is where like getting in rooms, going to different mentorships, because the glass ceiling really is on the information that you don't know you don't know. Once you go get that mentor, get that coach, get in certain rooms, it's like now you get access to the information. And then when you execute on it, it's like, damn, yo, everything changed. My business changed. My money changed.
And that's why, you know, self-investment is the definition of self-love. Most people don't love themselves enough to invest in themselves. If you really love yourself, you're the most important person. You would invest that money in yourself, in some teaching. You know, one idea could change your life. One idea in a book could change your life. What is a book? $30, $40?
Yeah.
One idea at a mentorship could change your life. That one connection could change everything for you. So it's like, man, you got to start investing in yourself, or don't. You can do it or you don't do it. I mean, you're going to be wherever you're going to be.
Because money, I mean, it's technically currency, and currency is just energy, right? And so currency does not move, and an energy does not move, and it stands stagnant. Like you said, if you're not growing, you're dying. You're doing one or two things. So you got to understand in life, like, yo, look, I got to be a person that, one, I'm always growing, but then two, I'm staying around other people that's always growing. Because if you're growing and you're hanging around people that's dying,
they're going to bring you down.
They're going to bring you down. It's kind of like if you put a fruit, right, that's not decayed and things like that, and you put it next to some other fruit that's rotten and stuff like that, what's going to happen?
One bad apple spoils the bunch.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And that's universal law in life. Man, I've seen it in households. I've seen it in jobs. I've seen it in, you know, if one person is rotten, it affects everything. Right. So, but you use that in a positive. You get in those right environments with those people doing big things. That one person who's super successful and positive, it's going to affect everybody else. That's why who you're around matters. And that's why picking the right partner is very important, because I see a lot of guys, they picking a wrong, negative, nagging woman, and that is going to deteriorate their lives. It's already hard enough to be successful. It's already hard enough to do what you're supposed to do. And now you're adding this extra weight. It's going to be damn near impossible to get to where you're going.
And it's the same thing with family. Like a lot of times we feel this loyalty because, like, you know, your mom and your dad, your aunt, like, because y'all had the same blood. But at the end of the day, right, the loyalty that you need to have is to your goals and to your future, right? Too many of us have loyalty to our moms and our families and things like that, but that is not going to help you get to your goals. No. You're listening to your mom. You listen to these people that don't have money tell you how to make money. You listen to people who don't even own businesses telling you how to run your business, right? And so what happens is that
backwards thinking.
Yeah, your loyalty really should always be to your goals and to your future. And this is the thing, right? I tell people all the time, like, when I paid $10,000 for a mentorship, I went, you know, told my mom about it, and it was like $10,000. Yeah, I paid $10,000. But now, at the end of the day, my mom don't have to work. Yeah. So which one was more worth it? Was it worth me listening to her and then her still working on her, me doing what I need to do for myself? And it's like, now my mom's retired because I understood the different choices. And a lot of time when it comes to, like you said, validation, see, every time that I do something that grow my life, I'm able to live with that decision as a man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm living with that decision. I don't care what anybody has to say about what I got to do, because I'm going to do what I got to do. But I'm also willing to live with the consequences of what I do in terms of my actions. So a lot of times it's like, yo, you got to go get consultation. You got to get validation. You have to, you know, let other people approve your moves. Yeah. Like, stop thinking that you need other people to co-sign your talents and co-sign the way that you think and what God put on you, because it's your dream, not someone else's dream.
Man, listen, you speaking, that's a whole clip right there. That's the whole clip. Now, that's a fact. That's a fact. It's your dream. And then everybody's not going to see it. But then people get mad like, oh, you didn't believe in me. Listen, everybody's talking. I don't expect somebody to believe what's in my head until I manifest what's in my head and put it on the walls of reality. I don't expect nobody to believe in it. It would be nice, but don't nobody got to believe in it but you. As long as I believe in it, they going to see in due time. And you know, once you put the painting on the wall, then they might want to invest. But everybody's talking. Everybody's talking about what they going to do. Why do they think you're going to be any different? Show them something first.
Yeah. And that goes to, like, people work ethic. A lot of times you can't show people something because you're not willing to put the work in.
Yeah.
And when you don't put the work in, the thing about people is that they're gonna basically expect you to do what you've always done. So if you're someone who always puts the work in and always executes and does what you say you're gonna do, they're gonna expect that. But if they expect you, but if you're not that type of person, then it's like, yo, I'm just gonna keep expecting you to keep losing and keep doing what you've been doing. So it's like, this is why you got to get around other people that's winning, because that's the motivation a lot of times. Sometimes it's like getting around other men or getting around other people that's doing better than you. That's what really motivates you. I think when you think about, like, growing up where you from and, like, where we from, it's like, yo, look at the friends that we had. That's why we weren't motivated to do anything different, because it was like like you said, they was on the same level we
You ain't even know you was a loser. You don't even know right now you a loser. I didn't know I was a loser till I started women. I was like, damn, I was a loser.
Yeah, I was broke. I was fucked up. Yeah, and it's so crazy because, like, that's life. You know what I mean? And then what happens now is like, yo, I know you probably got people from Cali just like me, it's like people from Baltimore hit me up. It's like, yeah, bro, I'm proud of you, bro.
Yeah,
Proud of you.
oh,
I'm proud
my
of you.
goodness, come
I'm
on.
proud of you, bro. Like, yeah, I'm proud of you too. And we could have did the exact same shit if
Yeah.
you would have tapped in when I was telling you or when I was having these conversations with you. You wasn't paying me no mind. But now it's like I was on the phone with my man, you know, and he was like, yo, bro, just 2 years ago we was on the block together. Like, we was.
Yeah.
But the same shit I was talking about 2 years ago, even though we was on the same block, we wasn't, our mental wasn't on the same spot for real.
That's a fact. But you got to add in this part, because I know no matter what, you know for a fact that they are not willing to do what you did. The cold nights, the uncertainty, the anxiety in your stomach, that's something most people would have never been able to stomach, because you don't just get here and it's a smooth path. It's the unknowns. It's the almost going broke. It's them cold nights where you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Most people cannot stomach the journey.
Yeah. Because most people are not mentally unemployable too. Like, I feel like you got to get to a point where you're actually mentally like, yo, I'm not going to go get a job.
Yeah.
And if you really put yourself in that position, it's like, yo, I'm not going to go get a job. I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to make money. Like, a lot of times people just don't put their back up against the wall, right, to like really figure some shit out. You know what I mean? Because as soon as it get tough.
Cheat code to life, to my life. And even one of my mentors said that. He was like, man, he used to buy Rolls Royces when he was like 20. He's like 70 now. Yeah. But he used to buy Rolls Royces back then when that's all the money he had, because he understood how he ticked. And I realized I tick the same way. If I'm really lazy naturally. I think most people are. So therefore, I'm going to go buy the big car, buy the big jewelry, get the new lease on a new spot, because that's the only way that I'm going to work. But I know myself, I'm a hustler. No matter what situation you put me in,
I'm gonna figure it out.
Put my back against the wall, I'm gonna figure it out. So that's how I level up. I get to a new income, spend all that income, then that becomes my bottom level, and now it's normal to me, because otherwise I don't work, because I've been comfortable so long, riding Rolls Royces for so long. Like, innately, our brains are not wired to be this comfortable. So you have to do something to put, unless you just got super fire in your heart, sometimes you have to manufacture a way to put that pressure on you. So I use that as a cheat code in my life.
Yeah, nah. Same thing, bro. Even like with retiring my mom and paying all the bills and things like that, like, you know, you start getting to certain levels of income and you realize, like, okay, this is why now it's important to take care of my mom, pay the bills. Because like you said, now I'm not comfortable. There's no way I can ever be comfortable, because every day I know that someone's depending on me to go out here and get to it.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm here. Hey, I'm getting on podcasts. I'm speaking on different stages. Like, I remember like 2 weeks ago, I flew to Atlanta because I had to speak. Then I had to go. I went to this other event. I was at a networking event, not networking, but really a coaching event to grow and scale my business. They're like, damn, bro, you went from Atlanta back to Dallas. Yeah, like I got to do whatever it takes for me to get to the next level.
Man,
and
they ain't not willing to do it. Like I said, I was podcast state to state to state, middle of nowhere, driving 6 hours for maybe, didn't even know if I was gonna get on these podcasts and spending my bread. These people they don't see what you really doing behind the scenes. A lot of these people ain't willing to do it.
Yeah, because you got to be intentional about success, though, right? Like, even like you said, driving, putting the miles in. Because when you're intentional about success, a lot of time what happens is that it's going to work out. It always works out when you're being intentional about putting the work in. Because at the end of the day, you can't plant seeds, right? And don't think you're going to reap a harvest. Especially if you're watering, get put in the sunlight, doing everything else, you're going to reap the harvest. Yeah. But a lot of people, they're not planting. Then they're not putting the sunlight. They're not putting the, like, so of course you're not reaping nothing, right? Because you got to seed first, then it's harvest later.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, one of the things that my mentor used to say, like, every week we had a thing we had to turn into him. And one of the things on the list was, what did you do that made you uncomfortable today? He said most people stay in the same place because they don't get uncomfortable. He said, as an entrepreneur, you should be living with anxiety in your stomach 24/7. If you can go to sleep at night, he would say, easily, without fear in your body, he said, you're not going to reach your potential. You're playing it too safe. Yeah. And when I did that 1 year of mentorship, I probably grew more in that year than I did in the past 10 years. And then I realized why everybody's where they at, because everybody's going out their way to do everything they can to be comfortable. And I was forcing myself every day to do the thing that I was scared of. And he would say, use it as an identifier. Whatever you're scared to do and are trying not to do, that's an identification that you need to do it, because that's going to give you the most growth.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know, but most people can't stomach it. They've been taught to run from that anxiety, to run from uncomfortable. I'm scared to do it. Don't do it. You know, they've been taught, but I rewired my brain from mentorship. That's where you get the most growth, just like in the gym, man. The heavier the bench. If you lifting some weights, it's just like this and it's nothing, it's not gonna grow your muscles. But if it's hard and it's heavy and it's tearing the muscles, then you're gonna grow. Same thing with your mental. Yeah. And the people that I know that are the most successful can handle the most stress.
Yeah, that's a fact. But like you said, that's something. A lot of things had to be taught, right? Like you gotta understand that you gotta be taught to number one, break the mental, right? To not want to be comfortable. Because like you said, I mean, everybody that you hang around, everybody you talk to, everybody that you're dealing with, they're gonna want you to be comfortable. And that's the biggest thing about life, that you're gonna get what you get out of life, what you put in. So if everything that you put in is always about comfort, then that's what you're gonna get out. And at the end of the day, that's not gonna make you no money. It's not gonna grow your mental. It's not gonna put you in the right rooms. It's not gonna really grow you to the individual that you need to become, so that you can be the success that you really want to be.
Man, that's a fact, man. Hey, man, you got some big game, man. You dropped a whole lot of gems for these people, man. We had a great conversation, man. I'm glad you came today. But you see, like-minded individuals that meet at like-minded events, man. So I'm not surprised you had this type of mindset that you got. Tell these people where they can find you, about the funding, about your Instagram and things of that nature.
Just follow me on Instagram, YouTube, all platforms at ChiefSBS. And if you want to get access to funding, just text the word funding. Right. Matter of fact, text GameGod to 240-301-1188, and I got something special for y'all.
Y'all heard that, y'all. Make sure y'all tap in. Look at all the free game that he gave you. Just imagine what type of game he gonna give you when you tap in. You got any other places you want them to follow you at?
No, all platforms, man. At ChiefSBS, YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube as well. But yeah, man, I post on all platforms. I'm omnipotent when it comes to the my presence. I want to make sure that everybody can get access to me. But like I said, just make sure you text GameGod to 240-301-1188. And we'll take care of you from there.
Hey, man, appreciate you coming through. That good game for my people. All right, we going to do the outro. I'm going to say this is another episode of Don't Hate the Player. You're going to say learn the game.
Okay.
Listen, and that was another special game-packed episode of Don't Hate the Player.
Just learn the game.
Hey, we out.
We out.